Yo, welcome to Hard Pass. I am your host, Jacques Slade. StockX claps back at Nike, Travis Scott's return to sneakers, this week's hottest release, and of course, this week's Hard Pass. All right, let's start with some hot takes. Last weekend, F1 made a big splash in the US with the Miami Grand Prix. Thanks to Netflix's Drive to Survive, the sport's biggest stars like Lewis Hamilton are becoming more recognized stateside. And it's attracting GOATs from other sports like Michael Jordan, Tom Brady, and David Beckham. Like, check out this picture. It's not every day where you can honestly say MJ is the slacker of the bunch. You hear that? That's the sound of Jordan stands coming for me. Balenciaga is back on their bullshit with their extremely distressed Paris sneakers. That's it. That's the take. The Hello Kitty Nike Presto launched on Hello Kitty's website and promptly sold out in 1 minute. Yeah, you can blame resellers, but I think we all know plenty of Hello Kitty fans were lurking for these kicks. What did I say? The Hello Kitty hive ain't nothing to mess with, man. Imagine if they released a Karopi Air Force One or a Bots Maru SB Dunk. Madness, I tells you, madness. Thanks to the very talented Gifted Kicks, the Air Jordan 6 prop that Michael Keaton used in Batman has been restored. And now that we see what the boot looks like in its original condition, I want a pair. Yeah, I'll never wear it unless I'm actually in a city that gets chilly like a Gotham night, but Jordan Brand needs to make this happen. LeBron has his kicks that's styled after Superman. The GOAT needs to team up with the real GOAT of DC and throw in 6 kryptonite rings for maximum trolling. Fila has a new sneaker called the RJV Low Top, and everybody's got their jokes for it. I mean, even I thought this was a retail version of that artist-made sneaker that you put water in, but really, I respect these. I probably won't wear them because I still have some dignity, but props to Fila for taking a chance. I mean, it could be a lot worse. Have you seen those Balenciaga shoes? Before we move on to the next segment, I just want to take some time to pay my respects to the iPod. It was recently announced that Apple was discontinuing the sales of the iPod Touch, which honestly, I didn't even know was still being made. Nevertheless, this is the end of an era as Apple will no longer sell a product called iPod. Man, remember the before times when we didn't have iPods? We had literal books of CDs in our cars and you got into legit arguments about which one to play. It wasn't that much better when we upgraded to Rio Diamond MP3 players that held like 50 songs. The iPod was the first one that felt like the future with the clicky wheel and the easy to navigate interface. And when they introduced the Mini, abusing the college bookstore discount never felt so good. Eventually, we got the iPhone and there was no looking back. But man, what a time that was. All right, so Nike and StockX, the tussle continues. After Nike initially sued StockX for the use of their IP to sell NFTs that are not really NFTs in the truest sense, the swoosh is adding an amendment to their initial complaint claiming that between December 2021 and January 2022, they purchased 4 sneakers from the platform that were fake. According to Complex Sneakers, only one of the 4 sneakers is mentioned by name, and that's the 2021 patent leather Air Jordan 1 Bread. This is noteworthy because StockX sells an NFT that entitles the owner to 100% guaranteed authentic real-world pair of the patent leather Bread 1s. And who looks bad besides StockX if those real-world pairs of patent leather Bread 1s are not 100% guaranteed authentic? Nike, though no fault of their own. StockX has since responded to the claim with some bars of their own, which I will now repeat the juiciest parts. Nike's latest filing is not only baseless, but also is curious, given that their own brand protection team has communicated confidence in our authentication program and that hundreds of Nike employees, including current senior executives, use StockX to buy and sell product. Nike's challenge has no merit and clearly demonstrates their lack of understanding of the modern marketplace. I don't know if that's how StockX lawyers sound. I just imagine that's what they sound like in my head. In their defense, though, StockX is spilling the tea that people high up on the Nike food chain are not only cool with this reseller platform, but they use said reseller platform. That is, yeah, you talking, but why your girl keep calling me level of pettiness from StockX? And I have to say, this is all just funny to me because this is the rare case where nobody is winning the court of public opinion. People hate StockX because they exist and have been accused of allowing fakes to pass through their authentication service, and people hate Nike because they are of the opinion that Nike could just easily solve this problem by making more shoes. Obviously, we know it's more complicated than that, but whatever. We'll just be here eating our popcorn and watching however it all shakes out. Okay, let's jump right into the heat check where we bring you everything that's dropping this week. First up, we have the Naruto Jordan Zion 1 Sage of 6 Paths on the 18th for $130. We also have the 9 Tails dropping the same day. We have the Nike LeBron 9 Low LeBron Palmer on the 19th for $200. The KD 14 Ron English 3 on the 20th for $160. The Jordan 12 Golf Low Laser on the 20th for $220. The Mason Margiela Reebok Question Mid Memory of on the 20th for $400. And then the Dunk Low Next Nature Arctic Orange on the 20th for $110. We also have the Clyde Air Jordan 5 Low on the 20th. And then we have the Air Jordan 4 Military Black on the 21st for $210. And then our picks of the week is the Travis Scott Nike Air Max 1 and the Travis Scott Nike Air Trainer 1 on May 20th on TravisScott.com. So, you know we got to talk about these, right? So, the return of Travis Scott to the sneaker world. Nice Kicks is reporting that 2 colorways, each of the Air Max 1 and Trainer 1, will drop on TravisScott.com on May 20th, followed by a Sneakers app release on the 27th. Soul Collector has also confirmed this news through their own sources. The Air Max 1s were originally supposed to arrive on sneakers last December, while the Air Trainer 1s were first revealed during the Astroworld Festival. But due to the tragic events that took place during the festival on November 5th that left 10 people dead, the shoes were delayed indefinitely. It should be noted that as of this recording, neither Nike nor Travis's camp has commented on the story. If the release does come to pass, this will be the first Travis-endorsed product to be sold on any platform since Astroworld. Other than a series of billboards hinting at his next album and a private performance here and there, Scott's kept a low profile. That appears to be changing as he performed for a small crowd at the 11 Club in Florida during F1's Miami Grand Prix event. According to BuzzFeed, Scott was doing, well, Travis Scott things during the 45-minute set. Sure seems like the multiple lawsuits he's facing in regard to the tragedy is not dampening his spirits or his desire to perform for an audience. We've talked about Astroworld a number of times on this show. We've made our stance clear that because Travis is the face of the festival and Live Nation were the organizers of the event, they have to shoulder the responsibility for whatever happens. It's no different than when corporate malfeasance takes place. Even if a superior wasn't directly involved in the incident, the culture they fostered allowed it to happen. What I do not know and have no place to give an opinion on is when exactly Travis is allowed to return to polite society and sell shoes. Because for some people, like his sycophant superfans who clearly don't give a fuck about anything or anybody, he could have sold those Air Maxes the day after the tragedy and they would be raging on like nothing happened. And for others, like the families of those who lost a loved one and the thousands of attendees who were hurt physically and emotionally from the incident, there will never be a right time for them to see Travis raging on like nothing happened. As for Nike, well, they're going to Nike, I guess. They have defended and released product of athletes who many would deem beyond reproach and let go of others who others feel were unfairly maligned. It's a difficult balance, and if these reports are true, they are testing what that balance is. Because this world is a different place in May 2022 compared to November 2021. So many things have happened and continue to happen on a global scale that it's entirely possible Travis can drop these shoes without catching the attention of the general public. At the same time, all it takes is one well-timed tweet bemoaning this release, and Travis has to go back into the hole that he digged for himself. We won't really know where Travis stands in the culture for a while. I just know that it won't ever be the same. All right, it's time for this week's Hard Pass. We're going to take a look at something in the culture that just needs to go. But this one's a little bit different because it's not so much that we don't want this to happen, but Nike might not be too excited to make it happen. I'm talking about a signature shoe for Denver Nuggets center Nikola Jokic, aka the Joker. Now, by the time this episode goes live, it's possible that Nikola Jokic will officially gotten the word that he has joined an elite class of NBA players who have won the league's MVP award back-to-back. Strike that. Actually, it has been officially announced. He joins the likes of Giannis Antetokounmpo, Steph Curry, LeBron James, Steve Nash, Tim Duncan, Michael Jordan, Magic Johnson, Larry Bird, Moses, Kareem, Wilt, Russell. You get the idea. It's a small but very distinguished list of all-time greats. Jokic beat out Giannis and Joel Embiid for the honor, but it's not without controversy, as a very vocal section of fans feel that Embiid deserved the award. I mean, I can't blame them. The narrative all season was pointing to a win for the Philly center. Embiid had to carry much of the load this season when Ben Simmons was sidelined for reasons. And when the Sixers traded Simmons to Brooklyn for James Harden, the transition hasn't been smooth for the former MVP. Not to say that Jokic didn't have his own roster issues to deal with, but Embiid had the numbers, becoming the first center since Shaquille O'Neal to win the scoring title, and the more sympathetic storyline as well. Meanwhile, Giannis has now reached the point in his career where he's always a threat to win MVP just because he's Giannis. Kind of like when Tim Duncan was a perennial favorite to win during his prime years. I'm kind of shocked Duncan only has 2 MVPs. He was so consistently good in the 2000s that if you told me he had 5 or 6 MVPs, I wouldn't be surprised. Upset for sure because that means he stole some from Shaq and Kobe's already paltry number of MVPs, but not surprised. Anyways, even though Jokic will now be known as the 2-time MVP, Embiid can at least take solace in the fact that he has a signature shoe, while Giannis is already on his 3rd pair. So far, the best Nike has done for Jokic is give him his own personal logo, yet another amalgamation of numbers and initials. Jokic's Joker nickname helps give his logo a little more pop and playfulness than the obtuse art projects that are too clever for their own good. But it doesn't seem like we'll be getting a Nike Joker 1 anytime soon. By the way, World Star. Why? No reason. If you see it, you see it. If you look at the modern era of basketball shoes, every player on the list of back-to-back MVPs had a signature shoe at some point in their careers. Everybody knows about the Air Jordans and LeBrons and Currys and Zoom Freaks. Even Duncan had a brief signature run when he was at Nike, and Nash had shoes that everybody associates with him, like the Zoom Jet Flight and the Cradle Rock Low, a dunk-adjacent shoe that I think actually would be pretty popular today with kids who want to hoop and dunks, but you probably know better than to actually hoop and dunks. So throughout his NBA career, Jokic has worn Nike basketball's best, like the Hyperdunk and the Zoom Rise. This season, he caught the attention of fans by wearing colorful versions of the Nike GT Jump while tying his wedding band to his kicks. Man, good thing J.R. Smith is long retired and thriving in college golf, because this old trick would be wildly awkward if the ring got lost or stepped on. And if there's one thing we learned this season, it's you don't mess with Jokic and by proxy, the Jokic brothers. So, could we see a signature Nike Joker shoe in the near future? It's wild to think that it won't happen, but that's a real possibility. There's a long-held belief that big men don't sell shoes, except for Shaq's early days. Giannis and Embiid are big men, but their charisma and style of play kind of negate those stereotypes. Plus, Nike already has a handful of signature stars, and with Ja Morant likely next in line, there might not be space for Jokic. That would be a bummer, because while his game might not always translate in the House of Highlights generation, you only need to watch one Denver Nuggets game to see how important he is to everything they do. And then there's Jokic himself, who doesn't seem to really care about stuff like signature shoes and individual awards. I would contend that he can be every bit as dynamic as Giannis, except for the dunking part, and just as funny as Embiid off the court. Couldn't you picture Jokic joining New Balance and teaming up with fellow fun guy Kawhi Leonard and forming a duo called the Fun Guys? But he just doesn't seem like he wants it like that, I guess. He's like the basketball version of Brian Danielson, somebody who was on the short list of the best in the world at what they do, but couldn't care less about the peripheral stuff. But man, imagine if he left Nike for New Balance or Adidas, which would lead him to Yeezy, a Jokic and Yeezy basketball shoe with a lace dubray that looks like a ring? I could get with that. Anyways, what do you think about signature Nikola Jokic shoe? Should he get one, and does it have to be Nike? Let me know in the comments. Oh, you know who I feel kind of bad for now that Jokic is the two-time MVP? Carmelo Anthony. Dude can't catch a break. Last year, after Jokic's first MVP, you can still make the argument that Melo was the Nuggets' GOAT. Sorry, Alex English and Dikembe Mutombo stands, but it is what it is. After this season, though, not only is Jokic the Nuggets' GOAT, he also wears number 15, the same number Melo wore in Denver. Jokic is doing to Melo what LeBron did to Eddie Jones. Twice, I think. Yeah, twice. All right. That's going to do it for the show. Thank you guys for watching Hard Pass. I am Jacques Slade. I'll see you next week. If you would like to possibly be featured in a future episode, call us at 818-493-9325. Leave a short message, your socials if you want, no more than 30 seconds, and I'll see you guys soon. Peace.